Hi everyone, and welcome to the first session of Ask the Expert with ARDEX Facebook Live. I'm Greg Hunsaker. I've been with the company about 12 years. I oversee the finishing and flooring segments of the business. So we're going to get started. We've taken a number of questions over the last week or so. We've compiled them and we're going to answer them one at a time. And if your question was actually asked on the air, you'll win a polo like the one I'm wearing here. Let's get started.
Our first question is from John Martin in Illinois. He wants to know, how many batches can I mix in your barrels before the residual material starts to affect the product? On some of the larger pours, I want to mix as many as I can without wasting time cleaning the barrel out.
Well, John, obviously we understand that you always want to mix as many times as you can without rewashing the barrel over and over because it's a delay and it slows down your production. We typically recommend that you go through about a pallet of material before you go and you wash out the barrel and clean all your tools and start again. But in situations where it's extremely hot or it's cooler, you may get variations in that. Obviously, if it's extremely hot, you're going to have to do it more frequently. If it's a little cooler, you might be able to get a little more than a pallet, but that's typically a good benchmark. However, you always want to be concerned if you ever see any dried material in your barrel while you're mixing. Obviously, that should be the last batch that you pour, and then you should clean out and start again.
Great. Okay, question number 2 from David Lowe of Washington. He wants to know, I often re-wet and re-spin ARDEX products before it sets all the way and continues spreading. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, David, we really prefer that you do not re-wet products based on the fact that they're engineered to a specific water ratio and you could mess with or inhibit the performance of the product. So we prefer that if you are looking for something that has a longer open time, you probably just choose a different product. In this case, if you're looking for a self-leveler that has a long open time, I'd suggest you use ARDEX K10. That's engineered to be reactivatable, has a very long open and working time, so you get that extra time without having to add additional water or re-wet the material. In the case of some of our patches, like a feather finish product, you can actually re-whip the product in the bucket without adding any water, and it will increase your working time. So you have sort of two options there, depending whether you're using a patch. You can re-whip it. If you're using a leveler, I'd just make sure you're using the correct leveler, and off you go.
Question number 3 from Dustin Gross in Missouri. Which self-leveling underlayment can be installed over wood without installing diamond lath?
We actually have 5 self-levelers that can go over wood without the use of lath, therefore saving you time and labor and materials. The 5 products that we have are ARDEX Liquid Backer Board, ARDEX K60, GS4, LU100, and our most recently introduced ARDEX K22F. All 5 of these products can be used over wood without the use of lath. In the case of ARDEX K60, you can actually use that product without even priming over top of the wood. So another added benefit, another time savings, and you don't have to wait for the primer to, in addition to putting it on, you actually don't have to wait for the primer to dry either. Next question.
Question number 4 from Drew Lynch of Ohio. He wants to know, where would a ARDEX K60 Architects pour be more beneficial over ARDEX Liquid Backer Board, or vice versa?
In the case of K60 versus LBB, they're both excellent products, but it depends on what you're actually trying to do. If you were in a situation where you had limited access to water, you would want to use ARDEX K60 because K60 is a product that mixes with a latex additive, so you don't need to source water. So if you're on a new job site or a job site that you have water challenges, obviously K60 would be the beneficial product. If you're in a situation where you don't want to prime and you want to save time on priming and labor on priming, again, K60 in most cases can go down without a primer. The final case where I'd say K60 is significantly beneficial to liquid backer board is in a high moisture situation. If you're in a high moisture situation, K60 is uniquely engineered with its latex additive to be in a very, very high moisture environment for long periods of time, and it has no effect on the leveling material itself. So you can be underneath a moisture system or in a permanently wet area, and you have no issue with K60. Otherwise, I'd say both products are excellent products and will give you a very smooth, flat finish to install your floor covering.
Question number 5 from Arder Sampson of British Columbia. Does ARDEX Liquid Backer Board exclude the need for another layer of plywood?
Well, ARDEX Liquid Backer Board is actually designed to remove the need for backer board. So you're trying to eliminate that cutting and fitting that you get when you put backer board in, and you get a perfectly smooth, flat surface with liquid backer board. So it's like a self-leveler that takes the place of liquid backer board, gives you a perfect substrate to install on. It's not actually meant to replace plywood. You'll still need the correct grade plywood for your specific building codes, and then you're going to need something that's structurally sound and has only a limited amount of flex to it because you want a firm substrate to put your self-leveler on top of.
Here's an easy one from Frank Granada of Pennsylvania. He wants to know, when will Flexbone Heat hit the shelves?
Frank, since you're so close, you're welcome to stop by anytime, and we'd be happy to tell you when our products are going to launch. But in the case of Flexbone Heat, we're looking at a Coverings 2018, which would take place in May. So you can look for a launch somewhere around that point in time.
Our last question, number 7, is from Brandon Lundquist of Minnesota. He wants to know, when is PFOR Primer coming? I need a fast-drying primer for both non-porous and porous surfaces.
Brandon, P4 is coming soon. P4, for those of you that don't know, is actually a sanded primer, and it's an excellent primer, but it gives you a little bit of grit when you're on the surface when you install it. That product is actually coming in the May-June timeframe. So that's our last question. I thank you all for joining us. I want to let you know that if you have any specific technical questions, I'd recommend that you go to our website and look at our technical data sheets for any of these products. In addition, you can call our technical services line for help at any point in time. They'd be more than happy to walk you through your specific job site conditions and concerns and give you their best recommendations for products and how to prep the floor. Again, thank you for your time, and we appreciate you for joining us on the first ARDEX Facebook Live. Thank you.